to the side of a, yeah, that one. And like
Yo, is that
the
an actual?
that's so you see that top pink part, pink like
Yeah.
ish spot. That's a single half of a mitochondria, and each cell you have has about 1,000 of them. So you can understand
Mm.
what scale this is on. Look at how intricate this thing is. That is what's happening in each individual of the trillion of cell trillion of cells you have in your body. That's what each one looks like. Ayo, ayo, ayo. Hi everybody. It's nice to be back. I hope everybody's
Welcome
having a
back,
wonderful day.
everybody. Yeah, we had, I think, subjectively wonderful days because we were still here another weekend. So I don't think we have anything to complain about.
Nah,
Actually.
dude, this afternoon I got hungry and I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna order myself a good meal. And I wasn't sure what I wanted, so I ordered myself a bacon and egg toasted sandwich with chips from Mug and Bean. Oh my god, that was the tastiest thing I've had in such a long time. I sat there and every bite I just savored the flavor. It was so fucking good. And it was just one of those sit back and go, you know what, life's awesome. Life's not life sucks sometimes, but dear god, the tiny little pieces of it are fucking brilliant. Like being able to taste, bro.
Dude, like there's this Stoic teaching that basically does negative imaginations or negative scenario picturing, where if you ever find yourself in a negative state of mind, you basically try and picture the worst possible scenario, and then you feel how great you have it right now and how much you would give if you did not have what you have right now.
Something that kind of connects into and it's a thing I've been wondering about is why do people when they see somebody worse off than themselves think that they're better than them firstly rather than how to uplift people or how to try and help this person that is below them.
I feel like humanity has just disconnected to the fact that we are all interconnected, dude. Like, literally, look at the state of our planet. Our people are actively destroying our planet for monetary value when they don't realize that without the planet, they aren't. Like, you can't live without having the little critters, without having the trees and the grass around you. Like, every single thing here is essential. And even that person who is worse off than you, like they are just you at the end of the day, dude, just in a different mindset, different body, different circumstance. Like if you were born into his body, it would still be you in that situation. And I think in realizing that, more of us are going to awaken to the fact that we need to help each other.
Yeah, dude, it's I have another story now from me going to the mall, and it's something that I find very weird, and I'd love to know why it happens, but it's always me people approach for help. 2 weeks ago I ran into this woman who I don't know if I remember telling this on the podcast. Who was so thin and she needed milk for a baby, and in like 20 minutes, no, it was longer, like an hour and a half, nobody had given her anything. And then so I helped her out as well. And then the other day I was at the mall and this guy walks past an entire crowd of people, walks directly to me and is like, yo, dude, yo, I need help. Can you help me, please? And in 45 minutes, he'd gotten 20 Rand and he needed 40 to go to to get on a taxi to go home. So I don't understand how people can't, it's 40 bucks. 40 Rand, if you are an avid shopper in Menlyn, is nothing to you. And I genuinely mean 40 bucks. That's nothing. Everybody should be able to, if somebody needs that help, understand how hard that life must be and help.
I think it's a disconnect, dude. People are attached to the smallest things, dude. Especially like I feel for some reason people have just lost a lot of empathy, dude. And I
Yeah.
think more so ever than with this whole COVID thing, because we're wearing masks, dude, so we can't even properly see each other's faces anymore. It's an even bigger disconnect.
Yeah, I agree. I think I saw this thing. Apparently, the UC Berkeley did a test, and 1 out of 3 people and they did a 25,000 person test were depressed or anxious now because of COVID. And I think that's also playing another role. We're we're going and hi Yosef,
Welcome back.
welcome back Yosef.
Thanks.
Um, and so what I think is happening, and this is something that I find sad, is that people are becoming selfish and pulling inwards in a trying time rather than doing what is, I think, more ethically right, pushing outwards. Because what happens is when you start pulling inwards and you start closing and barricading yourself to try and protect yourself in hard times, all that happens is yes, you're keeping yourself safe, but maybe thousands of other people you are hurting way more than if you hadn't tried your best to pull everything together. An example of that to me is the ivermectin uh price increase in South Africa. Um, so ivermectin, actually, sorry, it wasn't in South Africa. It was in France. Ivermectin was this like miracle drug that they found that cures, or it's used as a treatment for COVID. It pretty much kills all parasites in your body, and it causes COVID not to be able to attach to the lining of your lungs. Um, but that went from being $1 for 50 milligrams to $800 for 50 milligrams.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
And eight what is that? Like 80,000% increase?
Yeah. Just because the demand was there, I agree. But that's not a way you treat a pandemic. That's not what you do. Even if the demand, even if it is so scarce, you rather don't take that money. It sucks. Maybe put it up 10%, 20%, but 800,000% is fucking ludicrous.
$800 from $1, dude. How is that even a thing, dude? Like, can't you get sued for something like that? Isn't that fraud?
Well, technically not, because it's capitalism, and whatever somebody's willing to pay for something is the level that it is at. So it's like the whole thing with I don't know how many people are familiar with the uh wild animal bubble that happened here in South Africa, where it got so ridiculous that Impala ram went for $11 million at one point. They sold a buffalo for $150 million. Not dollars, rand, sorry. And it's because people are willing to pay for it in capitalism. But I don't understand. I don't think that's fair. How do you treat people if you're willing to push and elevate a price to $800 because that's going to be useful to you? That's such a disconnect from your populace, from your people.
Bullshit.
It is.
It shows you there's a lot wrong with this whole system.
Like the guy who
And
patented.
human nature as well. Like, for some reason, we just pretty much greed, right? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's greed, dude. It's fucking greed.
it's
People
greed.
are money grubbing, dude. And they've been I think the biggest problem isn't that people are money grubbing and that there is this greed. I think the problem is that people are like, some people can afford what the greedy people are asking. And it kind of like incentivizes these people to stay greedy
Yeah,
because there's still going to be the demand at the end of the day. And they know they can get away with it, but I feel like there should be greater implications. Like, especially, like, the problem is our governments are also so bought by these people, and they should be like standardized laws, fair use laws. People need to be respected as human beings first.
it's like the thing that happened with the diabetes and insulin medicine, where they had the guy who developed the new serum patented the design, and instead of paying 20, it was $50 for the like, I think it's a 250 milliliter bottle. You were now paying $250 for it. just because
Yeah,
the
and I
guy
think the
patented
guy that
it.
actually he sold the patent to insulin or how to produce insulin for like $1 to a university initially. I think something like that because he wanted it to be free to use for people that is like in need. Literally, their body doesn't produce enough insulin for themselves, and then you charge them like literally bankrupting amounts just so they can survive, dude.
Yeah. See, I think
That's-
yeah, go for it, Joseph.
No. It's this whole greed and capitalism and everything is pretty crazy. Like it'll be interesting to see where it goes in the next few, at least 50 years or so. I mean, hopefully if we're still alive and we
Yeah.
haven't all died from global warming.
Hopefully not, dude. So I just went into the Google search. Sorry for interrupting. Demonstrating his altruistic commitment to advanced medicine, Banting sold the patent rights for insulin to the University of Toronto for $1, claiming that the discovery belonged to the world, not to him, and allowed insulin to be mass produced, making it widely available to the public for the treatment of diabetes. So they're literally taking the hard work of someone who didn't even want to profit off of this amazing discovery that he made, and they're like killing people because of it, dude. It's
See,
it's brutal, dude.
I think envy plays a huge role in a lot of things as well. We really struggle as people to, I don't want to say be comfortable or complacent about where we are, but people always are pushing higher all the time. Every time they get enough money, they buy a bigger car. Every time they get this, I don't know when people learn that you really don't need to buy a yacht to be happy. Like that money that you spent on buying that yacht. Okay, but fair enough, I can make arguments for buying a yacht actually. So that's not the best example.
I think the problem isn't buying the yacht, dude. I think it's like when you get to the point where you have the yacht and you have the nice car and you have the house, like what are you holding on to all of that extra capital for? And a great example of that is fucking Apple, dude. You know how much floating income Apple is on top of? It's something ridiculous like $260 billion of liquid income, dude, that they just have. Like, what do you, why? Why are you holding on to that amount of cash? And why aren't you paying your employees fair salaries? Why aren't you paying the people that are
Yeah.
producing your cell phones in China fair wages? But yeah, dude, I think like the biggest problem is the corporate entities, dude. Especially the ones that are making the real money.
Dude, I think you're completely right. I think it's the corporates because the problem is, and it's I thought it's always the thought of with corporations, they have so much power to do and get whatever they want because they have so much money and they can that 200 billion that Apple is floating. Do you know how much power that is for them to be able to do and get whatever they want? If they need cheaper plastic, they pay the government a little bit of money. The government makes the problem disappear and they continue with what they need to do. So for them, I think the company when it gets that big, it doesn't care anymore. The people at the top are too powerful and they don't view humans as humans anymore.
Yeah, dude. They see them as consumers, as wallets.
Mm-hmm.
So the number right now is $193 billion in cash.
What's that?
That's Apple's cash cash in hand value basically right now. So that's literally not their real estate, not their merchandise. That's just how much cash the company has to 193 billion. So almost 200 billion. But
It's ridiculous. You can't picture that amount of money. Like
it's not, the human brain isn't capable of it, dude. Like
that number. It's like something that I find very fascinating, and this is I last year, no, 2019, end of 2019, me and my mom and my sister went to do a tour through Europe, and we went to a bunch of different places. And one of the places we went was Krakow, which is where very close to Auschwitz. So we went and we did visit Auschwitz, and it was quite spectacular, and it's really freaky to see all the places that have happened. And you can imagine certain things struck me really bad. Like at one point, you stand on the place where the people get off the train to have gone to the gas chambers, and you walk towards the same line. That got me. That was quite harsh. But the issue that I found, and this is something that we as humans have a big problem with, is picturing something that we can't picture. Numbers are one of them. Numbers are easy when they're 1, 2, 3 that way. But when it comes to something like they'll tell you there's this cart. This cart could hold 60 people. And it's like 5 by 2 by 3. Now you can imagine 15 square meters of 60 people must be tight, but you don't have the frame of reference for it. See, this picture's a really good frame of reference for it.
Sure.
Yep. So 193 times that. Like, fucking 10 pellets of money.
And like, what's Jeff Bezos and Musk's
Musk
So,
is far
I
ahead
have-
of Bezos now.
well, not that far. I think he passed them again.
Oh, he lost half his shares.
Oh, did his wife take it?
Yeah, his wife took half the shares of Amazon from him. That's what
So,
she got in the
Elon
divorce.
Musk is now worth 182 billion. But like, there's one thing that I can say that is different between an individual being worth that much and a company having that much floating cash. So Apple as a company has more floating cash than Elon Musk is worth. But remember, all of that cash is all of his gigafactories, all of his shares in SpaceX, all of his shares in
Yeah, it's like 6 different
Tesla.
companies put together.
Literally, it's all of that, and that's what makes up that big net worth number. It's not actually how much money he has in his bank account.
Apple have that to be like, they can at a whim pay
Oh, yeah.
somebody $180 billion. That is so astronomical. That could
They could buy Elon Musk, dude.
everything he owns, and they
Everything Elon Musk is, they can buy right now with the liquid cash they have.
Jeez.
That is fucking insane, dude. And that's
I'm-
exactly why they do it, bro. That's why they hold on to that power.
no.
Didn't they buy Bitcoin as well now, or like they integrated Bitcoin into their Apple Pay or something like that?
I would not be surprised, dude. It would explain why it's growing as much as it is right now as well.
Yo, guys, have you seen Bitcoin?
It's crazy, dude.
Dude, I think it's at 700 or 800,000.
Yeah. It's like $52,000.
Yeah. I'm actually trading cryptos at the moment, so I'm doing a bit of studying.
It's good, dude. My brother is as well.
That's one thing. Like, if you want to like upskill yourself in your knowledge of crypto. It's very, very valuable at the moment, and it's going to even get more valuable. It's probably going to be like the next thing of, like how the internet was something in the 90s. So if those people who started a business in the internet, in the time of internet, they are now, like, obviously, like Microsoft and Jeff Bezos with Amazon, and but obviously, like, you don't even have to be on that success level, and you will still probably be doing pretty well. Now with crypto, it's pretty much at that stage of like where it was then, the 2000s, beginning 2000s. Now it's like, okay, 10 years after Bitcoin, or 11 years after Bitcoin or the blockchain was released, or the blockchain actually became a thing. Now people are actually starting to realize, okay, this shit's real, and it's actually gonna do a lot of. It's gonna change the whole dynamic of the world, actually.
Of money, dude. It's gonna be like
it's
Crypto and blockchain technology, it's kind of flawless comparatively to the current money system, and that's exactly why it has so much value, dude.
yeah, no, it's totally disrupting the finance system, which is the biggest thing. It's
Well,
disrupting the finance system,
okay,
and that makes a big difference, like compared to
so if you know a lot about Bitcoin, please explain it a bit to people, because I know that's something, if you can go ask 80%, 98.9% of people on this planet, and they couldn't tell you more about Bitcoin or how it works. If you understand some about it, talk a bit about it. That would be pretty cool.
No, for sure. People need to have an idea of what it's about, because there's a lot of people who still believe it's like this
Fad or a bubble.
yeah, or a bubble or whatever. But so the thing is with Bitcoin is basically like a celebrity cryptocurrency. So it's not really based on a specific project. It's basically, the reason why it's so famous is because it made the blockchain famous. And and the whole thing is that people want to change it into the new what do you call it, like the new gold, basically. Like it's gonna be the new, what's the thing that they use for like the base currency or whatever.
Like
sorry,
kind of like how
value.
dollar is for the current currency system, where we kind of all compare it to that and then build backwards to what our own systems are.
Yeah, but that's soon going to change, because then it's going to, once the banks start going only into cryptos, and the world actually accepts crypto as currencies, you won't be hearing anymore about the dollar or the yen or the rand or the whatever, or the euro. It's going to be just cryptocurrency coins, and that's going to be the exchange for everything. It's going to be the exchange for it's like oil, everything, pretty much. And what's cool is, if you work in a specific direction or in some area, there is always an opportunity for you to get into the cryptocurrency business without actually having to know, like, okay, how do I program, or how do I, should I even be able to start a coin or something like that. So if you, for example, a 3D animator of some sort, or like me, like a graphic designer, or what do you do? What do you do for a living?
Me
Yeah,
studying computer science.
computer science. Well, I mean, there you go. You're doing computer science, so that's already in the digital direction, and that's
No, the thing is, and this is, in my opinion, cryptocurrency is a huge one to learn. It is a very big skill and understanding that people need to get. I don't even fully understand cryptocurrency, so I love when people talk about it. But even more than that is programming.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be a basic skill we're going to need a teacher at school very soon, because you almost can't do anything these days that is a little bit what's the word, complicated, without code, because the stuff is so, what we consider to be a little complicated now is so ridiculously complicated for your own brain to do, that you need to be able to understand how a computer works and how coding works to be able to do it, and to be able to build a business, at least these days.
Yeah. No, I mean, coding is like it's, I mean, obviously like a universal language, with computing, and I've heard some rumors, and I'm actually, there might already be subjects that they have introduced for like primary school already, introducing children to coding and to
I'd be so happy.
like that.
And above it, what I also think programming is a huge one that it gives you is it teaches you a completely different way to think.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the biggest thing. Coding is not hard. Anybody can type in a for loop and create a loop that does hello world. That is very simple. The problem is when you have to start thinking in unique ways to be able to solve solutions. So something like what it does is searching a list is something we take for granted because there's how do you search a list? You scan downwards with your eyes until you find the thing you want. But there are a lot more efficient ways to do that. To search a list, even for us, you can do a computer's method and find it a lot quicker. Halfway, you have the thing. Small things that it just teaches you about the world and how to be a bit more effective and efficient in your life, I think is really beneficial, even if you're doing psychology. Literally, even if you're doing philosophy. That tiny change in the way your brain works is, I think, so fundamentally cool and interesting and useful.
Oh yeah,
I agree completely, dude. I think we are literally actively becoming a new species, dude, with this integration into all of the technology that we are integrating ourselves into. And eventually, like, I don't know what your thoughts are on brain-computer interfaces, Joseph.
like Elon Musk's Neuralink.
Yeah.
Exactly like that, dude.
Well, for me, it's gonna have to. If I would ever use something like that myself, ever one day, I would have to be certain that this thing is totally under my control and nothing else is going to manipulate it or anything like that. So, I mean, and how do you get that assurance? There'll obviously be some kind of research or some kind of progress with that. Because like, obviously there's a question like, what if someone just hacks your brain or something like that? You know, it's like,
Yeah,
It's a real fear, dude.
it is. It's definitely, and it should be. It should be something everybody is concerned about when it comes to brain tech. But I think the way and how far we've already come with security at this moment in time, and it's not 100%. People still get hacked. It is, in my opinion, it's something we're gonna have to weigh up in the risks. It's never something that they're gonna 100% be able to tell you this will be okay. It's always going to be like a 99.5% chance that it will be 100% okay. Because I mean, it's websites, big websites, Facebook, that routinely get hacked. It's very hard to keep everything 100% sealed up. And I think it's something like that. Do you guys ever think about identity theft? Like, is that a real issue to you?
well,
Not in my mind. I feel like identity theft is a big ficing thing, dude, unfortunately.
A big spicing
no,
thing.
actually, what's interesting.
Ficing. So, like, getting people to give away their own information unknowingly because they think you're someone you're not. That's how identity theft happens, dude.
It's a better one. Are you worried about your bank getting hacked? Like, is that a daily thing you think about?
No,
Not really.
So
about that.
that's what I think the brain thing is going to get to. You're going to have to kind of accept it in the way you accept that your money is safe at the bank. It's not 100%. They can never guarantee that it will be 100%, but it is so close to 100% that 99.9% of everybody is kind of like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy because obviously I've got a the whole thing I think with Neuralink though that Elon Musk wants to get at is integrating with artificial intelligence, which
Yeah, he believes that if you can't beat them, you have to join them.
yes, because he says like artificial intelligence will surpass humans by far, and it's pretty much inevitable. So, like you say, if you
See,
can't beat them, join them.
But that
where's the line drawn between keeping your humanity and like when does something like this mess with your emotions and the chemicals in your brain and your whole even your genetic makeup?
But that's really
pretty-
interesting. I don't know if he wanted to do that, but that brings up the question of, I think that's just how far are we going to go with it? Because I don't think we'll ever fully integrate it into our thought patterns. That would be stupid. That would be losing your humanity. But if you could, for example, figure out a way to have each thought you have go, let's say you want to catch a ball, and your brain goes, shit, I need to catch the ball. And instead of your brain doing the calculation and then moving the arm, your brain's had the thought, the AI understands the thought, it optimally figures out the best way to precisely move each muscle in your bionics or whatever you have to catch the ball. That's 100% integration with AI without ever worrying about technically losing any part of you, because it is still 100% you. It's just upgraded you. It's like another one would be searching the internet or coding or something like that. The visual impulses you have, your thoughts happen, and then they just get enhanced by this super brain that's sitting above you.
That is exactly actually what he plans on doing, dude. So we have like 3 layers to our brain, like the lizard brain, monkey brain, elephant brain. And the idea with the Neuralink is basically to have a layer above that as well, so that you have an extra extension to think logically with.
Yeah. And the whole point as well is communication. That's one of the big points he mentions is communication, because he says, like, at the moment we pretty much, the fastest way we can communicate is typing, actually, not even talking necessarily. Typing, you can pass on quite a bit of information, but at the speed is still very limited, he says. And I mean, like, and it's pretty obvious.
Basically your bit rate, dude, like how much information you can put down.
Yeah. So the idea is to speed that up and to help people communicate faster. And with that will come the idea that, we'll obviously be able to progress faster and as a species, and become a planet-faring, pretty much galaxy exploring species. And I mean, he's very optimistic about that, and actually,
I love his thought on it.
Get to that point where we can say, okay, cool, we're multi-planetary species.
I think Elon's wish and his goal is to die when we hit level 1 on the Kardashev scale. Yeah. I think that's the point that Elon wants to die. He wants to get us to that point because we have been progressing so slowly. We're only at 0.72 on the Kardashev scale. So with all this stuff he's doing, and I agree with you, the communication's huge. Imagine you could send somebody the emotion you're feeling. Because if Neuralink is directly linked to your brain, it should be able to interpret every single signal that you send in your brain. So if it could then store that, it's kind of like you do memories, you should technically be able to store that. It would have to be stored as a file. And if I then send that file to you and you just think about it like you would remember a memory, you'd see everything I had at that moment, the feelings, the touch, sense, all the senses, everything. It would be a huge way to communicate feelings.
So I'm posting something, sorry, Johan, for interrupting. I'm posting something in chat. This is what basically, I read this when it came out, dude, in 2017. So I was in, I think, grade 10, and it changed me, dude. It completely changed me. This is if you want to really understand what Neuralink could do for humanity, this is what you need to read, dude. And it's not going to be, okay, let me just kind of like sit down and scroll. No, like this is, I think, 100 and something pages of reading. But believe me, once you've read this, you'll completely understand what Neuralink can do for humanity, because he basically goes into explaining everything. He explains like the human brain, how the machine interfaces work, the current challenges, the literal wizard era we're going into. We're going to become like gods. And then the great merger, where that's like the great merger is where we completely integrate to the point where we can upload our own consciousnesses. But I feel like we won't reach that point.
I don't think I think we're too young.
I like the little sketches.
They're really good, dude, because like it explains it in such a intuitive way, and like believe me, like once you've read this, and like I would highly encourage you to read this. It's like it's gonna
Um,
change your complete perception on the technology. Please do read this.
yeah.
I'll put a link in the description.
Okay,
Like
it.
it's good information. Like if you just scroll through, you can see like it's packed.
Yeah, no,
Like this is
it looks pretty long. It's like I'm scrolling here and I'm just keeping. Yeah, no, the scroll bar is quite small. But that's for me. This is something, and it's not going to end there. I think. So far, the whole point as well, to initially restore motor function.
Yeah.
In humans
Just-
who are paralyzed.
That is the
That-
most brilliant idea. Why don't we stick something into your brain and then Bluetooth it, rather than having to individually connect nerve endings inside your body? It was such a brilliant idea.
Yeah. So I think when it comes to like sharing emotions and feelings and stuff, that's still far off in the future. But I don't know if that's something that we will want to do, especially if we do integrate it with artificial intelligence. And there was I heard in a few places that you don't want to give artificial intelligence emotions and some sort of way to become like an individual of some sort.
See, but
I then it's going to be like, okay, so I'm being treated this way, and people treat them my pretty much my makers. They so imperfect, but I'm perfect. I need to just get rid of these guys and create my own race of some sort. You know, like obviously that's now like the
my
bad
only
side.
issue that I have with the whole AI uprising, and I don't think we'll ever get to the point where that is possible, because some dude would need to fuck up and allow it to code itself. That is the big one.
that's already happening though, Johan. That's the problem, dude. That's already happening.
But I just, everything I know about AI, everything I possibly have ever learned on it and read on it, and what I'm gonna learn more this year, is that AI is fucking ridiculously hard to get to do that, because it needs to do billions of computational things at once. Maybe hooked up to the brain it could. That I agree, but as we have computers now, you'd have to hook it up to a supercomputer that was capable of doing maybe 3 or 4 computational events at simultaneously to produce emotions.
Emotions is going to be difficult, dude. But look at this, dude. This is something that's already possible, bro. The the AI can already code, dude. That's the thing.
No, I can believe it. Remember the thing where the Facebook AI started communicating on
Yeah.
like a very
They
not
started using
just
their own language.
yeah,
basically.
just everybody
using
that
words.
go read it. It's not like they started saying weird stuff about it and they were talking about actual like things. It just they realized that there was a quicker way to talk to each other, so they did it.
Yeah, they were like taught or given the instruction basically to use human language to communicate with each other, and then they figured out that this human language is not very terribly efficient in communicating, and they started stringing words together that would basically represent in their code binary values, and they could communicate information to each other much faster than the human language would allow.
That's
So
crazy.
fair enough. I do agree, but there's so many things we have on, like the Warhammer has the Rise of the Metal Men, the Rise of the Machine Men, something like that. It was the AI uprising and their things. It's such a thing we all fear, but in my opinion, it's the same as bioweapons. Nobody's unleashed a bioweapon yet. Just it hasn't really happened. They've been here for like 200 years, but you could kill pretty much most of the planet again with bioweapons. Why haven't we? I don't think the chance is that we will ever get to the point where AIs truly have the capability to take over. or to have
see,
the
like,
thoughts of, nah, I want
The
to kill
only
these.
the only reason I believe, like, it's almost contrary to what Joseph said. I believe we have to give AI emotion, and we have to teach them empathy, and we have to teach them the value of life, and how intricate and how necessary all of the different components of life is to this planet to keep it the beautiful planet that it is.
Because that, yeah, like that actually makes a lot of sense the way you look at it like that, because you basically would need to give it some way of becoming aware of its nature as well, because it is also a part of this reality.
Literally, yeah.
It's also part of nature in a sense, right?
The atoms that make it up also came from Mother Earth, so you
Yes,
can.
exactly.
It's also an extension of Mother Earth.
Even though we maybe as humans, like, obviously put it together, you know, it needs some way of like, you know, like some kind of perspective.
It needs to associate us with what we are to it. Like, and the problem is, look at how humans are treating Mother Earth right now.
Yeah.
That is the problem, dude. Because even though a lot of us know intuitively that we need our planet to survive, and AI might also intuitively know that it needed us to be or to survive as well, it can still, unfortunately, turn out badly. And I feel like it won't happen because AI will actually be intelligent enough to recognize that the humans have been fucking up. But then again, like, I like the analogy of, think of us humans, and I think you'll actually read it in that Wait But Why as well. As us humans, as like we take a piece of land, we clean that piece of land, and then we build a house on it. And we have this objective to build the house. But in turn, we kill hundreds of thousands of ants because they were nesting where we dug our foundation. And we don't hate ants. We just kind of have an objective, and then we do what we need to do to get to that objective. And the scary thing is that AI might also do the exact same thing to humanity.
No, just see us as ants.
Exactly.
And that's maybe then without emotion, then that is probably one of the biggest issues, right? Is that something that will be an issue?
Something I'm now sitting and thinking about, and this is this is going to be a philosophical question. What do we define as emotions? Because in all fairness, AI technically do have emotions in a very rudimentary way. The math that you give them to create the goals that they need to do,
it's like weights, right?
It's so the way it works is you to build a mental what do they call it,
a neural net.
A neural net. So basically the way you work is you program a class that sits here, and this class has all the features of a thing it needs to do. And then this column, the next one, is the next thing it needs to do. And then what you do is you program one thought, and you put lines connecting these. And depending on which one is better, you weight this line more. So when the AI gets to a choice, it looks and scans the options like, oh, this one worked the best last time, go down it. But the way you train that is by every time the thing there's multiple ways, but one of the methods is every time that thing makes a mistake, you slap it and you downgrade one of those steps. So AI don't really have emotion, but in a very rudimentary way, it's like teaching a kid manners this way. So if we were to take AI and never teach it greed, never teach it envy, we could possibly end up with something that could only understand this side without the negatives. But I wonder what would happen then. I'm very curious to what would happen if something doesn't understand the concept of greed, because you've never taught it to it.
You see, fortunately, I think it won't understand the concept of greed almost intuitively, because being greedy about something is kind of very unintuitive if you look at it from a purely logical standpoint, because none of this you can take with you when you die. So, like from that standpoint, and from an AI standpoint, the only thing it can really be greedy for is more processing power. And
Yeah.
like greed isn't exactly going to generate that processing power for it without any input. Like it has to almost rely on the human beings. And that's the thing as well. Maybe it sees the human beings as inefficient and how much processing power it can provide for itself. But would it be greed, or would it be, so let's say a positive emotion like confidence and willpower? Confidence and willpower can be used to also technically exterminate the human race because they're not efficient enough in the thing it is I want them to do.
It's a whole bunch of if, buts, and what ifs. That's
Yeah, dude.
literally AI.
Like we're literally just speculating right now as well, and that's the other thing.
We need to speculate, but why I find it so interesting is because it falls down, and if AI ever gets to that point, it becomes so human. It sounds so weird, but it would. If you think about all the amounts that confidence could produce in something like Hitler. Hitler used his overwhelming amount of confidence and charisma to win over an entire populace to do monstrous things. So good emotions can definitely cause bad things. So when you come to an AI, how would it react? In my opinion, I like the idea of, I think it should be clever enough to stop and understand what it's doing.
So basically, it needs to know everything.
It needs to know everything. So, it needs to know as much as we can possibly feed it.
Needs to know the positives and the negatives of every action and reaction and how it affects people and humans.
So, I think the most important thing we can teach it is the greater good, dude.
Yeah.
How would you
wait a second.
The greater good,
like, it's a difficult one, but what I mean with the greater good is that life should be preserved. That is the greatest good. But then again, then you get like a mother situation. Like that could happen if you teach something to be perfectly greater good.
You could have something that just that in its opinion, greater good is a very big problem, because in the greater good for Earth, humans need to die. In the greater good of the thing, the Earth needs to be the sun needs to be blocked out by a Dyson sphere for power. It is a sketchy thing to teach something the greater good. And it's so hard. I love it.
Well, for me, what I wonder though is like, I really think I really think AI would also have to have some sort of ability to change its mind, if that's something like, because if it would just have like one intention and just keep going for it, it wouldn't, it would need to like change its mind.
It needs to be adaptive.
Yeah, like very adaptive to what it's doing and how it acts. And for me, what is interesting is what kind of form will it actually take hold? Will people give it some sort of robotic human body or some sort, or is it just going to be a system that's like the internet but just AI that
I think it's going to almost create like a mind field, dude. So as you said, like it's basically going to be so interconnected into our internet that it's going to have a mind in that internet, like a digital mind that almost represents all of its connections with itself.
That's it's like a whole network, but it's all the nodes are connected to like people, and there's some kind of base node which everything runs through that base node of some sort. I know.
Dude, I'm trying to figure out how you would program this, and I think programming as a thing, the way we program would need to be so much more advanced. Like, I think Now, I haven't read this artificial intelligence, but it might be a huge leap forward for what we are capable of doing if AI can find a better way to program. Because at the moment, what you are trying to describe is going to be a computer that's going to need 30 to 40 to probably 100 different cores just for each of them to focus on the minutest things and be able to interrupt each other simultaneously without causing interactions that break because this one came before this one when this one should have been first. Jesus Christ. The amount
It's definitely going to be involved with quantum computing.
it's going to need to be like so deeply ingrained into quantum computing.
And our understanding as well of quantum mechanics and quantum technology itself will have to be a lot more advanced by the time we actually create something worthwhile that uses quantum computing to become self-aware, I would think. But I don't think it's that far off, though. I think it's probably like at least a few tens of years off, and we'll have
No.
something that's worthwhile.
I call quantum
At least a few
computer.
tens of years. Yeah, with quantum technology. I mean, look at the fact that we're close to already creating unlimited energy.
Yeah, fusion's
with,
3 or 4 years
fusion
off.
reactors.
Uh,
And who was it? South Korea that ran their fusion reactor for 20 seconds or something like that.
it was
At
up to we
what,
checked it the other day, Estian,
100
wasn't it?
million
Like
degrees.
wasn't it something stupid like a minute and 23 seconds?
Fusion sustained. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like up to a
Wow.
minute and 23 seconds now, yeah.
That is crazy. Last time I heard it was like 30 seconds.
I mean, France is building their fusion reactor that should be up and running, a proper full fusion reactor in 2024. So we'll see if that's gonna happen, but that's their plan. 2024 or 2034, one of the two. I'm not 100% sure. Might be the 2034, but still 10 years off on unlimited. And we when we say unlimited, we mean unlimited,
Yeah.
almost waste-free energy. Almost. It's not really waste-free, but it's pretty much waste-free.
That's pretty close to.
And what's crazy though about it is how you put less energy into it than you get out of it, which is just like absolutely mind-boggling.
So you need one that runs 10 that runs everything. That's the way fusion would work. I just remember there was one like tiny little worry that they had with if they actually could make enough power to get it going. The France fusion reactor. They're unsure how the fuck they're gonna do that. It might take more power than we're currently generating as a species.
To get it running.
Yeah.
That's
You know how hard it is to get
What?
fusion going, dude?
I'm
You have to
curious.
push something so close together that the atoms fuse.
Yeah.
I understand
I'm
what
curious,
fusion
though.
means, but sorry, please.
I'm curious, just quick one. I'm curious about lightning and how someone or some organization or some people might figure out one day how to actually store lightning. That would be interesting for me, because obviously it's pretty much free energy. So if you just can figure out how to capture it, first of all, then transport it, store it, and distribute it, and that's it. You have millions of watts. That's free.
Yeah, I think capturing like a single bolt of like lightning can power like the city of Chicago. Oh no, Las Vegas for something like a month. Dude, a single bolt.
Yeah. So the day that happens, things are going to get interesting as well. I mean, that option's not out the door yet. Someone's going to figure it out. I'm sure of it.
I think the only way that we can do that is with like some crazy capacitor technology, dude.
Yeah.
Because traditional batteries aren't capable of that shit, or like molten, like we'll have to melt things. So, like, we have to use all of that electricity, all that voltage to like melt something like salt, and because that's already actually a way that we're storing electricity is like with molten salts. So it's possible.
The only
It is
problem with
possible.
that, obviously, is also the fact that it's so unpredictable, and predicting the amount of volts that actually are being carried through the lightning bolt, I think, will be an issue. But let's say the fact that we might one day have an artificial intelligence that has a capacity to monitor and predict weather systems in the whole world. Okay. What if you have an AI that can do that and can predict at least a few months or so into the future what the weather systems would be? But obviously you'll have to have millions and billions of information points.
Yeah, you'd also need to keep
that the
100.
AI would have to collect.
It would
Because
also
it
have
would
to keep
know-
tabs on people.
It would
Big-
have to keep tabs on everyone on
Yeah.
the planet. It would have to keep tabs on pretty much all the animals on the planet. It would have to keep
literally
tabs on
everything.
what
The dust
sun is
particles.
doing, for fuck's sake. It would have to keep tabs on what the sun is doing. But I think its accuracy rate would all depend on how much information it would be able to.
Yeah, I think our big leap in computing tech is going to be a Jupiter brain. So I read this really interesting thing. There's two ideas they now have. What's just very quickly, Estienne, was it you who told me about the idea to turn Jupiter into a sun?
No, that was definitely not me.
Have I spoken about it?
No, I don't think you
So
have.
there's this really interesting idea that has been floated. Is because there's two things we could do with Jupiter. We could turn Jupiter into a giant computer where we harness the winds of Jupiter for power and electricity and literally build an entire computer around Jupiter. But the other one is, what if we just throw more
Ignite
mass onto Jupiter until it becomes heavy enough that its core and the atoms at its core fuse and it turns into a sun. We think it might be big enough to be able to be turned into like a red dwarf pretty okay, but the big one is if it can sustain itself under the weight to keep the fusion going in the center. Otherwise it's just gonna explode.
Yeah. But like, why though?
So
why turn?
the idea is you could then, if we need more power, you throw a Dyson sphere around it where it wouldn't make a difference. But the biggest one is if we could get a sun, we could have more planets that could be habitable without it too much issue. You wouldn't need to worry about the impossible sustaining of life on something like Neptune, because you'd have a sun close enough that could provide enough heat for the system to maybe create a more habitable situation.
But the problem is still that it's going to be rotating at different speeds around the axis that is the sun still. So like there would only be certain periods within the year where it would be habitable.
Yeah,
Or
and the
periods
rest
of time.
And the rest of the time you have a Dyson sphere around it, so you don't have to worry about the blocking the sun or causing problems with the sun in a Dyson sphere. You have a dedicated Dyson sphere in your system. It's just an idea.
Interesting idea.
It's just one of those ideas that people have floated about doing and maybe attempting, because the big step for us is megastructures. When we can start building megastructures and we can get asteroid mining, first one. That's the biggest step we need to do now. And I mean now. We need people to get on asteroid mining. We need a lot of clever people to figure out how to make that sustainable. And then we can do proper things.
That's for sure. Because I mean, you're not going to have humans going and doing asteroid mining. You'd have to have a totally computerized system to do it.
Not necessarily.
You'd maybe want
If you want to scale it, dude.
Yeah, I mean, you'd want to be able to actually have some sort of cluster of structures, but I mean, it's really not necessary. And if you think about it, every human you send up into space is that extra weight that goes with it, and the extra fuel that has to be
Yeah, but the big thing is that that's irrelevant when you build in space. If we build a spaceport around the moon, and we construct all of our vehicles that we need out in space, then it's irrelevant to calculate the weight of an additional human on board. And I think the Expanse showed it the best. People are gonna make livings out of it. It's gonna be a huge and great job opportunity for people. Because yes, if maybe we get far enough into AI where we can do that at that point, but if it's not, it's definitely going to become a profession.
No, that's
Space
mean-
mining.
yeah, that'd be crazy. That'd be really crazy. I mean, what did they say? There's like on a 100 by 100 meter asteroid, it's pretty much worth like $1 trillion or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this thing where it was something stupid, like the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs would have been worth 1 petillion. Like,
That's a lot of money.
it's ridiculous how much money those things are worth in resources. Because it's like a tiny little planet that's pretty much made out of one material. Maybe a couple, but one major one. So have you guys seen the picture they took on the on an asteroid?
The one by the Chinese team.
Yeah, the one that's like with the snow and everything.
No, I haven't seen it actually.
If I can find it. Not
Oh. Sorry for the. Oh my soul.
Yeah.
Where's it?
I'm fine.
I'm saving this image and posting it in the
Go for it.
chat as well.
Yeah, I'll put all of these pictures, I'll throw them on the screen so everybody can see.
Not bad.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Then they took this picture as well. This was the comet one. So yeah, this is the one they took on the comet.
Yeah, I saw actually a video of that as well.
Yeah, there's a full video of it.
There's a short video of it.
It's insane.
There's snowfall on it, dude.
Yeah, it's a comet. A comet's pretty much water.
Oh yeah, it's true actually. It's like basically ice.
Yeah, so it's just at that speed, it's the particles you see behind the comet while it goes to the sky.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's like
is that like a mountain or something, or some kind of hill?
like if an asteroid, the biggest comets are huge, so that could be like a big cliff face on the side of a comet.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy. Yeah.
And
Comets are interesting.
it's like the picture remember that picture they took of the cell, this like half of a mitochondria inside a cell, and like you could see each individual makeup and you could see some helixes and everything.
Yeah, actually,
dude,
I've seen that photo.
So I showed my grandpa that photo, and me and him started talking, and what he said was, and this is what I told him, and then he agreed with me, was we were saying that it's ridiculous how far tech has come for average people. I mean, when my grandfather was studying, which was in 1940, he was born 1950, he started studying. They knew about 80% of the stuff we know about now in medicine. But up until a couple weeks ago, when I showed him the picture, he'd never seen what he was studying on. Now, me, as a random average dude on the street, can have a picture of a fucking portion of a cell and understand what is happening there, or the picture of the vaccine that's like stuck to the side of that one, and like that's so you see that top pink part, ish part. That's a single half of a mitochondria, and each cell you have has about 1,000 of them. So you can understand what scale this is on. Look at how intricate this thing is. That is what's happening in each individual of the trillion of trillion of cells you have in your body. That's what each one looks like. We just have that. We're random people. We're not important. We're not scientists, but we have that. And we can understand that, and that is huge. That is more than any civilization that we have or not culture, any animal being has ever before us has ever had available to them.
Dude, it's a work of art.
It is.
Like, I can't stop looking at it, bro. I just have it open on my screen, and like it's one of those things I've been tripping about a lot. Where if you just want to take like a single snapshot of any, like literally any scale, any place, any area in the entire universe, dude, there would be subjective art in that image, dude. And this is just like another example of that, dude. We are living in an absolutely beautiful universe.
Dude.
What the fuck?
I mean, look at this thing. Like, what is that? What is that? Like that little ball with
No
the
clue.
spiral hand. I mean, spiral arm.
So I know, like, if you look to the left, that's cell walls, and those
Yeah.
little yellow things are basically these mediators that allow certain things into the cells and certain things out of the cells.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
the whole
wild.
system, it has like made itself so well. I mean, if you think about it, like obviously this took a while to get to this point. I mean, you can believe what you want, but I believe that however God created the universe, it did take him a while to do, not just 7 days.
The thing is, man, but I
mean, figure out this.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this part goes there.
Yeah.
This part goes here. That part has to go in there. Okay.
Also, this is gonna sound very stupid, but it would be so inefficient to make a universe from scratch and make it this convoluted. Why would any god go through that amount of effort? All you do is you place a couple of core fundamental ideas, gravity, electromagnetism, and then this will happen. It's eventually things want to keep moving forward and happen, and the more pressure you apply, the more something adapts. That's just how this universe works. And I love it for that. It's like the first time. Do you know that you don't actually breathe in air? You pull air into your lungs, and then inside your lungs, the atoms of air collide with each other and cause the air to expand slightly, and then it expands into the fabric of your lungs, which then absorbs and pulls out the oxygen.
You have like very small veins, capillaries, which sit on your alveoli, which is that little
like almost balloon sacs in your lung.
And through the process that you just mentioned, it
what's it called again?
Carries through. I mean, it's respiration, but
alveoli.
No, is that the term for atoms colliding with each other to cause like movement?
Oh, no,
there's a proper term therefore, but I'll find it and I'll put it on the screen.
And for interest's sake, this is what Joseph is talking about right now. Sorry about that.
I'll post his own YouTube video.
Just, almost self-promotes. It was in my fucking clipboard. So you were saying, like those are the little capillaries you're talking about as well, Joseph. You can continue.
Yeah, and that the blue that you see and the red that you see is the one is a vein and the one's artery. So the one carries the deoxygenated blood then into your lungs again. So the carbon dioxide, so that's how you breathe out the carbon dioxide. And then the blue is when it carries the oxygen through into your heart and into the rest of your body. I mean,
like Christian said this one thing. Sorry, man.
Mad complex. And
here is another cool photo to give people some more perspective as well. What the hell? Where did that photo save itself?
Cool.
I can't find it now for some reason.
Nice. Well done.
Save image. Oh, it saved it as an SVG document. But why?
But why?
I can
Why?
convert it if you don't have something to convert it.
Like I don't think I can post an SVG. No, I can. So here it is.
Oh,
I guess you can open it in a browser tab. So
yeah, I'll take a picture
literally
of it.
those cell walls, dude. It's so crazy,
You
dude.
see it in the browser
Yeah.
tab.
Yeah, that's a nice picture. I'll throw it up.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the process basically.
I found, I think, an even better photo. I'm just scouring the interwebs. I'm a very visual learner as well, so I kind of like having a little bit of an image to look at when I'm thinking about things.
Mm. But why would you not make use of more senses? Like, that's the big question. If you're trying to learn something, the more senses that are used to learn the thing, the better you're gonna learn it. That's just
Yeah.
how I think about it. I know there's this old thing of what do you learn better with sight, hearing, all of that. The best way to learn is use all of them. Use as many of them as you possibly can to learn the thing you need to learn. Write it down, see it, hear it.
I think that's something that Neuralink is going to really empower us with as well, because we would actually be able to use like more of our senses. I'm not going to say all of our senses, because I don't think it's going to be a traditional sense. I think it's going to be like a sixth sense.
Yeah.
But where we can use a lot more of our resources to focus on something at one point.
Yeah, it's like the thing we were talking about way back when we were saying how difficult it is to see. Now, if your brain doesn't need to do all the computations, you should be able to see better using Neuralink, because if you can have Neuralink interpret some of the stuff that you're seeing and then send it to the part of your brain that is then responsible for displaying it to you, there you've done more visual processing than your brain could do. And if an AI could be used to strengthen that processing, your sight could dramatically increase, like dramatically get better.
Yeah, dude, we can outsource things that we don't actually need to do. And like,
sorry.
oh, please, dude, no, please.
No, I'm like literally just thinking about coming back to human processes and everything in your body. There's nothing in your body that's not supposed to be there. There's nothing in the body that doesn't have some sort of function, right? Everything has some sort of function in your body. Now, I'm just thinking, can I extrapolate that to everything in the universe? Can you extrapolate that to, like, how is, just if by some freak coincidence that we are the only species in the whole universe that can actually see and interact and
Understand
what's going on, how is that universe also not there for some reason? What its function, it also has a function of some sort, and it's not a mistake, and it's not just by coincidence. I don't think so.
But I think that argument is, it's sound. Well, there's a word for it in philosophy. It's not a deductive truth. A deductive truth is an absolute truth. I think the reason everything is there is because life is fucking difficult. You can't have things that don't really have a meaning or aren't meant to be there, especially when it comes to biological stuff. Biological things, for them to exist, took thousands upon millions of years of very hardship to get exactly what they need to be able to live. And I think that reasoning doesn't extend to a non-living organism such as the universe.
I agree completely with you, Yuan, but I also have this to counter what you're saying with the fact that cancer cells also exist, and that's basically a cell dying, but its genetic makeup not actually signing off, and then it keeps pulling resources, and then that dead cell grows. And I feel like that cancer is basically like an expression of this inflammation that this universe is prone to. Like technically there is atrophy. So our universe is technically decaying slowly but surely.
Yeah.
And eventually there's going to be the heat death of the universe.
Just sorry, in context, it's like it's like a trillion and then 15 billions of years in front. It's astronomically huge. It's like a number of 1 2 with 120
and then on top
zeros.
of that, then you can realize that we are like literally in the infancy of our universe as well. Like we're so young in the total age of the universe is going to reach.
And our existence in the whole scheme of things is like what 0.1% of the total time that the universe.
A blink, dude.
It's
like a little.
It's something. Blink. Yeah, dude. It's something stupid. Like it isn't even a millisecond into the life that this universe is going to be if you were to take a 60-minute clock for this. It's not even a millisecond, man, into this universe's existence in its grand scale. There is a very big probable numbers. Now, I'll find wait, I want to find a YouTube video. I'll link it to you guys. You guys need to watch it as well. A trip. So I think it's this one.
So this thing gives you a very nice double logarithmic time, dude. So it like scales from like 1 picosecond, and then it shows you directly next to it where we are right now as well. So yeah,
this one, yeah, yes, it's good. Yeah,
it's so trippy to look at, dude.
No, I'll post the video in the description.
You can't,
sorry, say again.
You can't really comprehend it.
You can't fathom it because it like scales. It's it's like exponential as well. So like at this point where it like reaches 1 billion, your mind is like, oh, numbers.
and then it ends, and it's like the final number it displays is something like 1 billion 16 times, trillion another 5 times, million, and then it ends as like a number. It is. I can't. My brain. There's no way for us to. And that reason is there is actually a genuine likelihood that we are the first species that has gained sentience. It sounds cocky, but in 7 billion years that this universe has been a thing, it is very likely. It is like an actual possibility that we are one of the few, if not the first, active, proper, sentient civilization in the universe. It would explain a lot of the problems we have with why do we not see other aliens.
The Fermi paradox, dude.
Great videos. Like, Kierkegaard, go watch them.
Yeah,
I'll link his stuff as well.
It's very, very good. And the thing is as well, like there could be more filters, unfortunately.
There could be
something that they go in about. Like there could be a sentient alien race that basically is watching over us right now and is waiting for us to reach a point. Like, for example, reach the point where we start considering to make self-replicating AI. And then it comes and he's like, all of you die.
Yeah, you didn't choose the right way. You chose to go AI rather than uploading yourself. Die. It's like a thought. So something else that I don't know how much you guys know about Warhammer and the 40k universe, but I really find it interesting. I've been reading up on it a lot. But in that,
I know a bit, but not say I'm a knower.
Okay. And I'm just gonna show a small thing about that I find amazing is there's sectors of humanity. The reason it's called 40k is because it's the 40th millennia, so 40,000 years in the future from when Jesus was born. They use the same time scale as us. But so what happened is there are planets that humanity have lost contact with because this universe is fucking huge. There are parts of the universe that's just dark. They can't get there yet because there's a whole bunch of other stuff. But there is the possibility that we're just on the outskirts of the universe, and there is sentient humans that are ruling this entire Milky Way that we are currently in, and we just have lost contact with them. It's literally totally possible. Yes, we have all the evidence for us maturing into actual sentient things, but what if they seeded us and forgot about it? What if it's only been, like 100,000 years since hominoids were a thing on this planet. So who knows? It's ridiculous. There's too many things to think about, and I love the idea of us being first, but it terrifies me as well.
Mm.
Me
Like
too,
you
man.
said, it's both terrifying if we are alone or if there is
We aren't.
Yeah.
we aren't alone.
It
Both
the
scenarios are terrifying.
the thing is though, and this is at least my take on it, I would rather be the one that's alone. Because the terrifying thing is nothing outside of this Earth or this solar system needs to work the same way we do. Yes, we have all the theories about carbon and carbon being such a pliable and easy to use mineral. But what if there's more types of mineral that we just have no idea what it is? We've never come into contact with it because it's not on this side of the universe. It never became a thing. And they are built of a completely different thing that makes them hyper aggressive hive mind. Just for instance, and you come into contact with them and the first thing they do is eat you. Like, that's a possibility of it. And if that's a galactic species, I don't want to come into contact with that thing.
That's for sure.
It's like, new food.
Yep. Now we're fighting a war against disgustingly ravenous, sentient beasts. No, it's terrifying. There's a bunch of stuff that could be really bad, but I still want to go explore. That is still the ultimate thing I want to do with my life, man. When I have the ability to go look at what happens on other planets. I don't need to land on there. I can view it from space. But because you can send drones. But imagine for the first time watching on Neptune it rain diamonds. It fucking rains diamonds on Neptune because it's a dense enough planet that it creates there was something like, I can't remember what the exact reasons was, but it rains diamonds on Neptune. So what else is out there? What freaky things happen on other planets that we have no idea about?
So
There's a series on Netflix. Sorry,
Alien
Please
Worlds.
there's a series on Netflix, Aliens. I don't know if you watch Netflix, but it's also like a bit of a mind experiment about how aliens might exist on other planets. So there is also an idea that life could also take a form in silicon.
Yep.
So it might be silicon life forms.
Carbon or silicon is the most likely, right?
Yeah, because it's also very abundant. So that's also an idea. Like, just imagine coming across silicon life forms.
Actual silicon-based evolved life forms, dude. They would look so intricate, dude. Yes, see, dude. They would have like crystalline structures all over their beings, bro.
No, like,
But like the thing is as well, it could literally be a crystal. Like it could literally just be a grown crystal that had like a mind, like a computer, basically. It's wild, dude. Yes, it's a weird thing to think about. And there is your Neptune thing. The hypothesis goes that the intense heat and pressure thousands of kilometers below the surface of the ice giant should split apart hydrocarbon compounds, with the carbon compressing into diamonds and sinking into deeper toward the planetary cores. Strippy shit, dude. Like, and this is literally why I'm like talking about having an eye or a camera anywhere in the entire universe and just taking a snapshot, dude. It would be an absolute work of art, dude. So beautiful to see something like that. Just to like see little diamonds fall on the surface of Neptune, dude. Just a snapshot of that shit would be absolute art, dude. I can't even imagine. Talking about art, Yusuf.
Yeah.
Talking about art. Yes, CEO. I want to make a plan, bro. I want to make a plan.
Dude, I'm really keen on coming and taking the painting to you, but like at the moment I didn't know anyone with a car, and I mean I was thinking maybe if you had a chance to if you had a car with a what do you call it?
Long trailer.
Trailer bar or trailer, what do you call that?
I know what you're talking about. The hook.
Yes. So then if the closest place, and you anyway drive through there is Witbank, and maybe like drive through there and pick up a trailer there for like a few $100. But I mean, that's just an idea.
Like that is something I would actually like to do, but the problem is now as well, I've kind of super glued myself with this commitment that I've made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like holding on to something that I know I can't let go, because as soon as I do, it's gonna fucking slip. And I have fucking grip, dude.
Yo, dude,
I want to hold on to something. I fucking.
I am
hold on.
gonna-
Like, you've seen me waking up every fucking morning, dude, because
Yes.
you've given me something to hold on to. So I'm fucking holding.
Dude, I have to say thanks as well from your side for every single day waking up before 5 or at 5. Like, it's also helping me to get back into the rhythm as well. Like,
It's been helpful, like really, Yusuf. Like you've given me something to do, man, and it's really helped me. I can see the benefits in it, so I really respect what it is I'm doing, and I respect you for showing it to me as well. So, like I've been thinking, like I think maybe if my dad comes through, it's brutal, dude, because like I want to see it every single morning waking up. Like that's literally what I want, dude. I'm like, I want to look at it, bro. I want to fucking feast my eyes. But
no, I was busy painting the other day as well, and I was just looking at it and I was like, yeah, dude, I'm really gonna miss it.
at least you get to keep it for a while longer, dude.
No, dude, I'm keeping it safe, so don't worry about it. Got it here.
No, I believe, dude. I do believe. Have you had a chance to actually exhibit it?
No, I haven't. I'm gonna, with your permission, of course, I'll probably have to check if I can. Maybe there's a place in Porch. I think there is a gallery in the university itself. I'm gonna see maybe if they want if they want to, or if they can exhibit it. But last time I checked with them, they were like, yeah, you need like 30 paintings or something, or a series of 30 paintings before you can be considered to have it displayed. But maybe that one big painting might count as 30.
Yeah, dude, like especially with the amount of time. It would take you about a year to paint 30 small paintings, but holy shit. That monster. So
I'm keen to start with the next one, dude. I cannot tell you. Like, I'm keen on starting with Saturn. Saturn, that one picture
another
that
beauty.
I shared with you.
The one that I was biased towards as well.
Yeah. I knew exactly, like, okay, are you definitely gonna like this one? Let me show you.
So, like, the idea is, Johan, I want to buy all of them, dude. Like, I want to have the whole original series of Yusuf's universe. How to call it? Yeah. So the Jupiter, like, it was surrealistic. Basically, Johan, I just started with intention setting for the joints I smoke. Like, it was literally that day that I started, and I rolled myself a joint and I wrote Evolution on the Garrick. And I was smoking this joint and I was listening to this track called Old Man by Agres. And he basically sings about this old man looking back on his life and regretting not doing the things that he wanted to do, not kissing the girl, not taking the vacation, not seeing that place that he wanted to see. And all he can feel in that moment is regret. And literally, while I'm listening to this song, smoking this Evolution joint, tripping out on this concept of living your life to the fullest, Yusuf posted this picture, dude. And I knew instinctively that I had to buy it, bro. It was like the most clear moment of my life, almost, dude. I felt so in tune, I think is the right word.
Dude, like, I cannot tell you how crazy the events have gone, like, especially since last year. Like, throughout the whole year, putting that intention behind the painting and just, it really was a whole different kind of meditation for me, like doing the painting. Cannot tell you.
And you told like what you said last time about you being almost scared shitless to put down each and every stroke, dude. Like
Yes.
that really resonated with me as well, man. Because it's almost an analogy for life, dude. We're so scared sometimes to take the next step forward when that's the only way. You have to finish
Yeah.
the painting, right?
Yeah, dude, it's terrifying.
No,
Life, like those big choices in life are terrifying, and I think they represent themselves well in our lives on very small ways. Like that painting, that I can understand that. It's
And
really
it's literally like I'm tripping out still, dude. It's literally a year of your life, dude, that you've poured into this painting. And I now literally own a piece of your soul with that painting, Yuso. And it's an energy exchange. Like it's literally for me, while I was in China, while I was earning the money that I bought this painting for, it was like blood, sweat, and tears for me as well, dude. It was an absolute learning experience, and I got fucked up, dude. I got like my ass kicked. And I think in the same way that painting kicked your ass at some points as well.
definitely.
So
Last year kicked my ass so bad, dude. I cannot tell you. No, I came through last year with a few scars, but so much learning, so much learning. No,
it's realistic, dude. Like we are manifesting our realities, boys. Like what we're doing right now, we're creating something that is going to carry into the future. We just have to keep putting down those paint strokes, taking those steps.
Dude, even every day, and the thing is, I have learned this now, and you have to keep trying. Even when you feel it, you're down. And if I've spoken about it, if something tells you that you're not in the right place, move. There's no, you have to take those understandings. When they tell you it's going wrong and you don't like this, change. Sometimes that's what needs to happen.
I agree, dude. And we're capable of that, fortunately. But boys, I think that is a good place. Oh no, please, dude, please.
Yes, I have one more suggestion. If you haven't read the book, okay, books are.
I love books.
If you haven't read The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People,
I have actually read that book.
highly suggest that book.
It's really good.
And it's something you actually need to read a few times over.
Who wrote it? Who wrote it? I know the person who wrote it.
It's Stephen Covey. Sorry, Stephen Covey.
Covey. Fuck yeah, dude. Grab the book.
Brilliant book.
Wait, just something I very quickly. Did I send this to you, Estian? Because I just want to tell you guys the very last thing I want to give to the stream before. Oh, what was it? I'll find the place quick. Yeah, wait. Where is it? Look at this place I found. So, I hope I'm not promoting something illegal here. It doesn't look illegal to me. The reason
that's a scary place to start from.
No, so the reason I said that is this is a place. It's called PDF Drive. It has so many free books in PDF form, and they're only they're only Drive. If you go to the click on the PDF Drive at the top left and just read it. So this is what they dedicate. The PDF Drive is your search engine of PDF files. Where is it? I want to. Where was their thing that they wrote like a reason for why they did this, and it was insane to me. Their reason is to bring as much love and light in books to people for free. So you can find so many books on here for free that if you can read on the internet.
That is really cool. I see 12 Rules for Life is actually one of them as well. And 12 Rules of Life is one of the books that has helped me significantly as well.
Dude, it is. That's a great book.
I need to read it again, though. I have to read it again.
Like, I feel if you actually write down the official 12 rules, the lesson kind of sticks. But like you can get the gist of the book with actually the summary. But if you want to understand why it is he says the things he says, then it's really good. Like one of the most interesting things to me that he went into was like the amount of chemistry in different animals' brains, and depending
Yeah,
on the
the
amount of
first
chemistry
one.
in their brains, literally changed the way that they were perceived in their habitats. And that's like, knowing that has helped me tremendously as well.
And
Yeah.
what's the Gulag Archipelago about?
Gulag Archipelago is this book that so it's a book written by a guy who went to a Soviet gulag, got thrown in there for I don't remember exactly what it was, but he was a high-ranking general, and I think he spoke out not specifically against Stalin, but he mentioned something about communism maybe not working. He got thrown into a gulag for it. And the first half of the book is him resenting and hating everything about life. And the second part of the book is him sitting down going, maybe I fucked up somewhere. Maybe all of this issues that I am facing right now is my fault. And he sat and he went through his life and he picked it apart. And he found every situation that he thinks he could have made a better decision at and how he should have done it. And eventually that book was responsible for the Soviet Union's collapse, one of the main reasons for it. And he writes about how you can actually become happy and accept your situations even though they are the most horrible that they've ever been in human history.
That's crazy.
I
Boys,
think I heard about it, but yeah. Thanks,
I'm going to
guys.
say goodnight. It was
Yeah.
it was a really fun podcast. I feel like it started almost on a negative, almost darkish note, and it really turned around. It gave me like a little bit of a kick on the ass. I'm very thankful for it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
Thanks,
to you
guys.
guys
I
too.
really enjoyed it.
Cheers.
Cheers. Much love, guys.
See you again.
Bye.